Yes, it feels good to be here again. I know they alone, I dey here with my weights as far as property they concerned. They talk about engineer or certified engineer for that matter. Who are they talk about? They talk about no other person, but the person we say we don't dey pilot the show for years now, and we don't dey get good commendation from people. Talk of say now one of the show where people know they take play. They don't want know things on top property. That is why the one wey we carry come today sef na the one wey dey in tune with wetin dey shele gangan for present day society. Make I call am trending topic. I think I'm making no mistake. But before we before we let the cat out of the bag, join me as we together make we welcome engineer Debo. You look different today.
Look different, Abi.
Very unlike of you, casual. This is casual.
Abi,
Maybe they go sight.
Well, I'm going to so many places.
Obviously, no meeting today.
There would always be meetings. Even on site, what do you do?
Engineers dress like this, but I know you they pay more attention to dress. You they dress more like you dey always decorate.
I dress for the day. I dress for my activity.
And this activity now, you know, gbole level lọ wo lẹ́ni. Tẹ́ ìka level lọ wo. Àwọn lẹ tẹ́ ìka ni mo.
Abi, Asha jẹun.
You don't shop. They say we make person come dey pray for money for you again. Ẹ̀yin ti lówó.
Èmi bí Bill Gates àbí bí Elon Musk or bí Dangote.
No, but
no, wait till I be now.
You get category. You know, say you as a day now, the kind of money wey you get.
Wetin this guy say
Dangote still dey find
money.
Ọba bi tẹ́yìn gbé olè ẹ̀ lè gbálẹ̀ fún ọba mọ́ bi tẹ́yìn gbé olè.
No, I'm a prince actually, so I
don't.
No, that's just my. I'm a prince.
I just say when person get money, he go become prince.
I know. He's by birth now. Prince is not.
It's not
it's by birth.
Okay, engineer, you're welcome to the show. And,
thank you very much, Chief.
In the last couple of days, or let me say last week or thereabouts.
Yeah, a week. A week and a day now.
A week and a day. We don't see different issues that news where they surround building collapse. This one they go say na 10 story they suppose do, they can't do 15, they can't be 21. He wear that one. He will the owner of building die inside. See. Let us start with the meaning. Kini won pe when they say building collapse. Wetin be the ordinary meaning? Outside say building even fall. Then wetin dey cause building collapse? And what are the regulations wey government even get? Say if person wan build house, say measures the day to check. Say this grant, the topography no fit carry more than 10. Say something like that a day. I
like the way you
say the
topography no fit carry more than.
Okay, but in English they sack me. I don't know around me.
Okay, well, when you say building collapse, it's just English. Building fall down, that's it. Collapse, fall down. So that's.
Is there a difference between building collapse and some houses they sink?
You see settlements. If you say settlements, house can settle. That's what you call sinking. It will look as if it's going down, going inside. House do settle. Depends on,
Depends on the land, the texture of the land.
Yes, I mean the foundation, what was done there, and all of those things would naturally and normally every property settles.
Every property.
Every. But you see, the degree of settlement to be that obvious depends on whether the right thing was done or not.
Now,
anything that you build settles.
What are the factors, or what factors would you say are responsible for building collapse in this present society? Let me even put it that way.
Anywhere in the world. So when we are talking about building collapse, we are talking actually about a lot of things that can cause it. A number of things, not just one. So one is, for example, there could be human factor.
Okay.
You know, and human factor can stem from a number of ways and things. So, for example, you have professionals, you know, who work on site, and you have workmen. You know, if they are not doing their job effectively, they can create errors that can lead to collapse of the building. Okay, so that's in the area of human. Material failures. Substandard, if materials are substandard, you know, or you know, they could, or they are when you say substandard, in the sense that they are not up to the specification. There is what you call, for example, in iron rod reinforcement, there is what you call tensile strength of material. So that's why a structural engineer, when they design structures, they will tell you the size of reinforcement you should use. That's because of the type of strength that those slabs or those columns needs to have, So they will tell you use 10 mm here, 12 mm, 16, 20. You can't use 16 mm where they said you should use 20. You understand? Okay. If you are doing that, then you are not building according to specification. And that can cause collapse. That's one way. Then 20 mm itself, supposed to have, there is a standard strength, tensile strength is supposed to have. You understand? If your own 20 mm was produced in an inferior way, it passes for 20 mm because when you put gauge there, it will gauge as 20 mm. But it does not have that strength of 20 mm. If you use it as 20 mm, it can cause building collapse. So that's why we talk about standardization in building materials, and also, testing, building material testing.
I think I will still come to Standard Organization of Nigeria.
Of course, we will. We will. Then design can cause building collapse. If ab initio, from beginning, the design has been wrong. Maybe the structural engineer did not get his calculation right, or the architects, or things like that went wrong anywhere in the design. It will cause, when they create that structure on site, it can't last because it has design defects and it will fail. Failing is what you call collapse. Okay?
Building collapse, can we say it is, I want to ask, let me say, building collapse, the way I see them, it be like say they more associated with skyscrapers. We hardly hear say 1-story building 4, 2-story building 4. But when they say building collapse, what comes to very many persons' mind now, skyscrapers. Say, because of Orikunkun, where people they do, we never even get them right in building skyscrapers in Nigeria.
Don't let us even go there at all. There are buildings that have been built since before I was born. That are skyscrapers.
They go the Nigerian stock exchange.
That are skyscrapers that are still standing. So forget about expertise, please. No, don't let us go there. That maybe we don't have. No, you see, this is it. And don't let us say, don't ever have the impression that we have more collapse with skyscrapers than the ground floor, 1 floor, 2 floor kind of building. There are collapse everywhere. It's happening. It's happening. However, the one that is more, the one that has more flaws, of course, would generate more news and attract more attention.
And more casualty.
And probably even be discovered, or it can be hidden. It can be easily, Meanwhile, the one that is just 1 floor, nobody has even seen the floor coming up. And then it collapses. There are ways people manage these things and you don't even know that something had happened. Or maybe just a partial collapse, partial failure. Sure. You may not know and things like that. They will just correct it on site. So, skyscrapers, yes, of course, because they are going higher. They have if things are not done properly, it has the more propensity to fall. Yes, obviously. You can imagine if we are saying you are using substandard material, okay, which sometimes is not due to a fault of yours in a way, you understand? There are instances in this industry where you will test a material that you want to buy and it will be correct. But subsequent purchases from the same source, the same spec, if you should go test, you realize that they are failing the test.
Samulumala.
It would have Shamudumala.
Yes, they miss it. Amulumala.
Exactly. So you can imagine that. So that happens.
Almost everything. Let me give you one instance. My wife will go buy waveform for one particular shop. Okay. For island. As he buy waveform, because he won't go buy. He tells the waveform, now original waveform. So he can't leave the waveform. Say, make it no dey carry goods make he buy something for the one for cold honey. Can't go another shop. Go buy another. By the time where he come, just carry waveform go. when the research all the way from like money madam rubber lera this one na rubber big guy think lora plastic and the one wey you check for the shop na better one but just going coming wọ́n ti sàmúlùmálà wọ́n fi kó hàn.
Yeah.
So you be like say this thing na this sàmúlùmálà no be only for building e dey happen for
everywhere, every aspect of our lives, and it is very dangerous, and that's why we are witnessing this kind of collapse that we are seeing. It's one of the reasons. Like I said, a number of factors, a number of reasons can lead to building collapse.
Another thing where I want to ask still on a human factor before we even enter, because in a material factor they dwell on more now, so let's still dwell on this human factor. If I want to build house, people say yeah me more, say after I don't collect approval from government, now make I wetin most people they think be say mo le gbele mi loke meji, I will carry my house on 2-story, I will carry my house on 3-story. Say government body e dey wey go checkmate say no get power to do abi. Now, if I have the material and the resources,
of course, government body, they are there now. Physical planning. In Lagos, there are those that go around to inspect LAPSCA, The number of, in fact, not too long ago, His Excellency, the Governor of Lagos, just launched a certificate of completion or something, that is also towards ensuring that things are well built and they are built to approval. To standard. So
don't be saying maybe once I have the money, I can build as high as I want.
No, what you are building is what you've gotten approval for. That's what you should build. Building is not that you go to site and you start to decide what to do. That's not how building is done.
Okay.
How building is done is that on paper, first and foremost, the land you got that you are building, you will first find out from the building authorities, physical planning, what can be built in this area. Every area. In Lagos, for example, almost all the areas now, they've done what they call master plan. And every area has specification as to what should be built there. Commercial, residential, mixed use, and stuff like that. So for your area, you find out what can I build here. Once you've been told what you can build, then you call your architect and your group of engineers, structural engineer particularly, and architect, to design, what you want to build that falls in line with what can be built there. Once they've designed it, the structural engineer does his design, the M&E does his design, the architect, everybody, you put that together, you submit for approval to physical planning. Then physical planning will look at it. There are guidance, there are regulations and codes and, building code that guides building. Okay, size of room, ventilation, cross ventilation, things like that, So they will look at all of those things, setback and all. Once you pass design, the structural design, they will do the calculation, verify it. Once everything is okay, you go through your approval process, you pay your necessary fees, they give you approval, they'll give you approval, then give you permit to build. You understand? Then you can go on site when you are ready to and say, okay, I'm ready to start building. You are given the go ahead.
The number of stories where person won't build, you don't inside the approval.
Yes, that's the approval you got. Then you are supposed to then create that thing that you have on your paper. You are supposed to now create it on the ground.
Where people now over-create it on the ground. I think that's where we'll go on this break. We'll now react on that. Where people over-create on the ground. The menace of building collapse now we they treat, and we don't look at both the human factor and the material factor. As Engineer Debo done make us realize vis-a-vis, it don't also make us know that joint body day where government sets on ground to they check this kind of thing where would they build. He talked about the physical planning, said them now part of the, like, make we call them the building police, where we go to check, oh yeah, how did this thing they go. Now, sir, we still there on the human factor, and still on human factor, we don't see so many cases, like I take talk that time where they go say, maybe you get approval for 10 and you do 20. You get approval for 20, you do 30. This kind of thing, some of fiscal planning committee say one list of auto nibi te body on the sense where we say everything they documented.
Of course, there are departments and government agencies under physical planning that are responsible for such, and they go out to stop. So you must have seen in town where you see stop work order and things like that,
Motiri.
or sealed and things like that. Yeah,
They go even put something
there.
like-
Those things are put there for some reasons. Maybe they discover that whatever they are doing there is not in compliance with the approver, or that they don't even have an approver. They will have to stop work, invite those people to, interrogate them. And if they find out that they are not complying and what they've built is substandard in any way, they will demolish. They have the power to demolish it. Yeah.
Okay, let us go back to material. Okay, before we take the material aspect, Daniel, good morning.
We have Daniel from Abuja.
Good morning, Daniel. Dan.
I think he's gone.
Okay,
Before you go on to, part of the human one is supervision. Success in construction relies a lot on supervision, especially in this part of the world. There is that common saying that what is not inspected is not done. What you want done is what you inspect. People don't do what you expect. They do what you inspect, So supervision is very, very key. In my over 16 years of doing this business, I've come to realize that there is no project that is small that you can overlook supervision and rely on the workman to be reasonable enough to do the right thing. I've not seen that project. You must supervise.
Must be on ground.
Closely supervise to ensure that what you are expecting to be done, what you have designed for to be done, is what is being carried out. Otherwise, these workmen sometimes they don't know the implication. A lot of sharp practices take place on site.
They just feel they are cutting costs.
Yes, a lot of even they think that they are making money for themselves. This greed. A lot of sharp practices takes place on site that if you are not careful, you have bought all the materials. They are of standard and everything, but they won't use the quantity.
Backyard.
What they are supposed to use 10 bags of cement, they will try and use 7 so that they can sell 3. Not knowing that, look,
the consequences.
Exactly. Granite, all of those things, So, people who supply granite these days, you would ask that, okay, supply me 30 tons of granite or 20 tons of granite. You know what some funny suppliers do? Or their boys, even the suppliers sometimes don't know. The guy will pack full truck from quarry and will leave. On the road to where they are going to offload, they will sell to these people. There are some people now who use cement.
They normally
cement bags to sell. Yeah. They will sell quantities to those ones on the road. Before they get to the road, 30 tons has become like 25. They've sold 5 to bags. And they will there is how they will arrange to make it look like. Sometimes they are in connivance with the person on site that they are to deliver to. The person offloads. And meanwhile, in that project, you have said maybe for this slab we want to do, we need, let's say you need 90 tons of granite. You've ordered, so to say, 3 trucks of 30 tons. In your own mind, you think you have 90 tons of your aggregated granite. But
at the end of the day, now 2.5 truck go.
So, so it's really, really.
Okay, let's take Innocent from Enugu. Innocent, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
We are fine, sir.
We are very well, Innocent.
I am a very
we are innocent
listener to your program.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate.
I enjoy WAP TV. So all your programs, especially this property program, I enjoy it so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Innocent.
Mr. Innocent.
Thank you.
We are innocent like you.
I am looking directly at Olodododo.
Chief day here. You have anything to say about this building collapse?
Yes. Incidentally, I read building engineering just as a student, government taking Abakaliki. I want to say that the institutions like the civil engineering institutions, building, all the related institutions that are supposed to take care of our buildings structures in Nigeria, they need to be up and doing. They need to be up and doing. Look at the colossal lives that were lost in this one that happened in Lagos just recently. I just want all the institutions that are responsible for making sure that buildings are properly built, they should rise up. You know, in Nigeria, anything goes. Anything goes. Sometimes we see people, they'll bribe their way and get approved. Such things should not be allowed. I don't want to take much of our time. I'm listening to you people. What the program director is saying is very important, and I just want to listen to it more and more. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much,
Innocent. Thank you. That was a very wonderful call. So,
yeah,
like even sharp practices.
Sharp practices. So, like Innocent said, really, the professional bodies, you know, the people that are really the parties, the players in this are the professional bodies, government, the builders themselves, we the developers ourselves, you know, construction companies, the developers ourselves, and the populace, the buyers. You know, they have a role to play. There was a time that some construction were going on, okay, and I went to that site, and what I saw was appalling. I said, this shouldn't pass. But you know the funniest thing? They were selling like hot cake because they were able to sell at a price that is far below the market. Why won't they be able to sell at the price that is far below the market with the substandard building that is coming up? But you see, people, gullible as we would always be, is unfortunate, but you really can't.
At times we don't even ask questions. Why is this thing cheap?
People rushed those properties. I mean, a number of them have issues now, you know, but those were avoidable. As a buyer, you should look at what you're buying and ask questions. If you are not satisfied, do you know that as a buyer, you have the right? Please, your stuff should have approval. You have approval? They say yes. Can I see your approval, please? Can you give me a copy of it? You can go and do independent verification.
Benny.
Now, okay, is this approval? You can bring your engineer to site for inspection and say you want to do integrity test on this construction before you put your money.
Engineer, why be say if we won't buy motor? All of us, we wise enough to carry mechanic go there. You know, so nobody go sending that job motor. You must carry that 10,000 mechanic. They always collect them. They must collect that 10,000. Now your own mechanic, even if you want send motor, give me mechanic and I will agree. I will get my own 10,000. You go drive around. You go can't do like this for me.
You know, say.
But when it comes to buildings, they won't buy building.
You just carry your agent.
Agent
knows the business side of it.
You
need to carry someone that knows the technical aspect of what you are buying.
You don't do.
Your structural engineer particularly, you know, to help you check the soundness, the integrity of that structure.
They know if cement is, if iron is good.
We are talking about structural engineer primarily, yeah. They can help you test the integrity of the property.
If I want to buy a house now, 2 people that is supposed to deal with me, agent and most importantly
at least take your structural engineer along. You see, the other aspect of how the house looks and feel and all of those things, you can do with your eyes. But if you need, you can take architect and all of those things on. But very critical, your agent and at least your structural engineer, so that you know that you are not sinking your money away.
Okay. Thank you very much. Our viewers will say goodbye and we'll see you again next week. Thank you very much, Engineer Debo.
Thank you. My pleasure. See you next week.